grew pale, her fever shot up to 101 degrees, and she vomited several times. Late that night, Maggiore called a doctor. While she was on the phone, Eliza Jane suddenly collapsed. She stopped breathing. Maggiore would later tell the county coroner that her daughter had crumpled like a paper doll. The doctors who examined Eliza Jane in the days before she died had proceeded as if she were a normal little girl. In fact, they all should have suspected that she might be ill with something far more grave than a pediatric ear infection. In 1992, Eliza Jane's mother had tested positive for HIV. In the years since her diagnosis, Maggiore, unlike most HIV patients, had declined the antiretroviral medications that have been hailed for staving off death from AIDS. Instead, Maggiore had come to accept the unconventional views of a set of activists who argue that HIV does not cause AIDS. Indeed, during the 1990s, Maggiore became one of the nation's leading proponents of this idea. She founded Alive and Well AIDS Alternatives, a non-profit organization devoted to questioning the validity of most common assumptions about HIV and AIDS, and has attracted enormous attention. The rock band The Foo Fighters once held a benefit concert for Maggiore's group. Her self-published book, What If Everything You Thought You Knew About AIDS Was Wrong, has sold 50,000 copies. Maggiore advises HIV-positive pregnant women to avoid taking drugs that doctors say reduce the risk of transmitting the virus to a developing fetus. She is also a proponent of breastfeeding, which researchers have found is a major vehicle of transmission of the virus from an infected mother to her child. Maggiore breastfed both her children, Charles, who was born in 1997, and Eliza, born in 2001, both of whom Maggiore conceived naturally with her husband, Robin Scoville, a filmmaker who shares her beliefs about AIDS. Neither child was tested for HIV, and Maggiore maintains that Eliza Jane was killed by an acute allergic reaction to the amoxicillin she began taking the day before she died. AIDS, that is, was not a factor. "I am a devastated, broken, grieving mother," she told one reporter, "but I am not second-guessing or questioning my understanding of the issue." 2 days after Eliza Jane died, a medical examiner at the Los Angeles County Coroner's Office performed an autopsy on the girl's body. Eliza Jane was just under 3 feet tall and weighed 29 pounds, underweight and short for her age. Her thymus gland was markedly atrophied, a suggestion of HIV infection. The suggestion was confirmed by a neuropathologist who saw protein markers of the virus while examining cells from Eliza Jane's brain. White patches were found on the lobes of each of her lungs. When the lung tissue was examined under a microscope, doctors saw an opportunistic fungal infection known as Pneumocystis carinii pneumonia. PCP is a leading cause of death in patients with advanced HIV. The medical examiner concluded that Eliza Jane Scoville had died of AIDS. The death of a little girl in Los Angeles may not look immediately germane to the thesis of this book, that the limitless choice we now enjoy over the information we get about our world has loosened our grip on what is and isn't true. But consider this. According to AIDS specialists, Eliza Jane Scoville's condition was highly treatable. Thanks to antiretroviral medication and aggressive therapies for infections, middle-class toddlers in post-millennial America simply do not die any longer of AIDS. What killed Eliza Jane, then, was not only a disease, but more precisely the lack of notice and care for a disease, a denial even that her condition existed. What killed her was disregard for scientific fact. It was the certainty with which her parents jettisoned the views of experts in favor of another idea, their own idea, far removed from observable reality. It was a willingness to trade in what was true for what was merely true enough. The controversy over HIV's role in AIDS will seem to most readers no controversy at all. Those who espouse such ideas can look as loony as folks who wonder whether Americans really did land on the moon. But we are all just a mouse and a modem away from a world that sees the disease very differently. HIV doubts on the web carry the vestments of science. There are AIDS-questioning journals that ape traditional academic publications. Apparently well-credentialed experts who say they're actively researching the disease, and reports of legitimate sound